Twice a week when we have the studio, we do it. We do it. Do you have the time to do something like this every day? Probably not. But what I do is I try to find time when I'm feeling things that are not always either pleasant or sometimes they are pleasant. And I try to make a note that I'm living through something right now that is moving me. And I'm making a note of how I felt and remembering that that's what I need to do when I take my speech on Saturday. That feeling I had just now when I was feeling that depression that I had, I have to remember that and use it. So I make notes of what I'm going through in my life. While I'm walking to the subway, I'm feeling something. I go, okay. I don't even know how I'll use that, but I'll find a way. And then I go back and remember those things. That's sort of what I can do. Sometimes it happens in the shower. Or when I'm asleep, trying to go to sleep. And it's not like I have a rigid way of doing it. These things come to me, and then I just make notes. Like a writer has a little book and writes memos to himself, ideas. An actor can do that too, but maybe not write it down, but keep it somehow, and to remember that what we are living in our life is all important to use, rather than I only act at the studio on Saturday and Wednesday. You're actually acting all your whole life. You're acting because you're practicing and making notes of any feelings you have. And rather than most people, when they go through depression or they go through mourning at funerals, or they have something that is not at all pleasant, or even when they have a big celebration, they kind of just, they do it and then, it's over. We make notes of it and we use it. It's all stored away. All the experiences I read that Suzanne is going through on Facebook is like an opera. So I can say, my God, she's got so much that she can use. She's making it public, which is something else again, but she's, by doing that, she's got a whole repertoire of emotions, anger, all that shit that we use, rather than other people. They don't even think about it. They just go through it. Hey, enough. We embrace those feelings. Even the bad feelings we embrace. Those are things that we're going to use those. That's money in our bank. That's why we travel to China. That's why we go to whatever. That's why we go to these places to get the experiences that we can suck up, including the awful stuff. So whenever I go, how do I get through this awful period? I then remember, I'll use it. Yeah, Ed.
You reminded me of this. When we're depressed, I was very profoundly depressed in the late 80s. I really were. I couldn't get out of bed. And if people would call me, I wasn't like, hello, oh, I'm so depressed. I would get angry at them sometimes. We'd talk and I'd get angry. What? You're bothering me. So you don't always illustrate the state of mind you're in, because you're fighting. You're trying to show them you're not depressed. It's like being drunk. You're trying to show them that you're not drunk. And so you don't fall into you don't wallow in the emotion. Because, Uda used to say that too. She said, I think of things in the middle of the night. I go, oh my God. Like
I use that.
After rehearsals and things like that, she said, oh, maybe I'll do, I'll try this.
Yeah. I mean, we're lucky people that we are feelers. We're feelers. And that's, for most people, that's very scary. They don't want to know about your feelings. our feelings should be on the tips of our hands and feet and toes. Sometimes I feel, that's a little pretentious. But then I go, wait a minute, no, that's what we do. We should embrace it. We shouldn't feel touchy-feely stuff. We just have to sometimes have a little control about
The artistry comes later when you can say something funny and cry inside. That you do with when you gain artistry, working a lot and finding those kind of things that you can. But you can't do it all at once. You have to just say the words sometimes, happy words, and then eventually later on in the rehearsal you'll start finding the sadness in the happy in what you're saying.
So JJ, that's why your second time was so much better. Even as a performance, it was better. You may have thought, gee, I'm not performing it. I thought it was a better performance, if you want to call it a performance.
Could you bring that intimacy to a place like Players? Or would you have to be bigger?
No, you don't have to be bigger. Your voice is big enough. Way too big, almost, more than you need. You can afford that, you see?
Yeah.
Some people might not be able to.
Yeah.
You can.
A little note, when you say about your weight, when you now discover it, because this is a moment of his discovery of what an idiot he is, really. So he said, I'm so fucking heavy that I sank. So, it's a funny line, but it's the humanity of this guy.
Yeah. You know what it was?
Finally realized.
I wanted to get to
Your
that
line
button,
about the
and I
ashes.
ran too fast.
That last line about the ashes of your...
Because the lecture was like
that was
25
something
seconds
I
maybe.
felt you could more sensory work with that line. I was thinking when I stopped you, I forget the line, but she's talking about the ashes of the, that's so visual to me. So you want to find those things that can trigger your senses and really see and feel and smell when you can. And let that go into how you say the words. Even if you're doing it, it'll come out in the words. You don't have to work so hard anyway. It'll come out. You don't have to work on doing it on how you're going to say the word in the whole. You see? Chris, I was asking you to do the money. What is that money? What does he see? The money and the... I thought you could find more sensory in those two things, the money and the, that's all. Maybe you wouldn't do it in the performance, but I was asking you to find a way to do that. Why the character would find it sensory in some way that relates. Maybe it doesn't. When you do that, it's your best work. It's your best work. For most of us, when we do it, it's our best work. We did some beautiful work, adjusting and doing that. Okay. As we go through this season, this fall, some of the sessions will be smaller groups, some of them will be larger groups. It shouldn't really matter. Meaning, there's always something that you can work on with, whether it's bringing some speech back or trying something that you've never tried before, because, damn it, she's not here. I expected she'd be here, or he can't come. My whole, you can never put your marbles in one basket. You have to have, as an actor, not just for our lab class, but in this business, if you put your marbles in one basket, it's going to be a rough ride. You always have to, be juggling a number of options, and that makes us crazy sometimes. But I'm sorry, it's part of our life. So we have to have Plan B, C, D, and E, and they all are important things that if I can't do Tuesday, I'll do them Saturday. And then I'll bring that one back. You know, you've got to have that kind of flexibility rather than, I've got nothing this week, why come? A lot of people, you know, nothing new this week, I think it's about every week thinking, what can I do this week? I don't know what I'm going to do this week. I'm going to go just to get an idea of what I'm going to do this week. And by the time I get there, I will have an idea. Or somebody will use me in the reading, and I'll get more than I thought I would have gotten, which happened Thursday. The Omar's reading. It's wonderful. Suzanne, anything you watched, any notes that you have, or any insight you'd like to share from what you're watching?
There was, I don't really hide or don't know a lot of people, but I was noticing that you took Roger's adjustment very well.
Ed, anything else?
Something I see a pattern, I see it all the time. I'm going to use you as a, no. What's your first line in that,
all my life I lived and worked in a big city.
Yeah. You were giving it such a weight when you really just get all my, in other words, you're illustrating the emotion through words when you should just say the words. All my life. We're going to learn what that means. So just say it and don't act it. Just say it. See, all my life I lived in this city. That's the way you would really say it to somebody. You
I
don't
guess
say,
I was like,
what?
picking up from his speech,
So,
going into that moment.
yeah, all my life. So that's all you do. All my life. Don't stop. All my life I worked in this city. All my life I worked in this city. It's just an answer. It's just an answer. And some of you, when you get to important words, you slow down and give them too much weight.
For scenes here, there are props back there. Not a lot, but there are glasses. There's one plate. There's a table. We have chairs, obviously. Sofas. Easy chair, can be moved. We just have to put it back at the end, right? Bring things that you need for any scene. A hat that makes you feel, or some kind of skirt or whatever that makes you feel, if you can, rather than I'm going to wear jeans for doing Hedda Gabler. Do you know what I mean? Try to bring things that make you feel and get into the world. And it's amazing to me that people don't understand and realize that. They think it's just when we get to dress rehearsal we'll do that. Way too late. Way too late. Way too late to put on the shoes of Hedda at tech dress rehearsal. Those shoes in the 19th century were different. You know? So, try to be thinking, if you can. I know you can't. You're coming from work. I understand all that. You're on the subway. You can't schlep. But if you can, you probably can leave stuff here in the back, in a bag, if you need stuff for the following week. I'm pretty sure. Okay? Grady's looking for a scene, and he's off for a job, but we'll be back the week of October 14th, I believe, that week. So we need a scene partner for Grady, if you guys could think about that. And the way scenes happen, organically. You see people here and you make note. Emails are sent out with everybody's email. Usually when I send it, you have the emails. I'm going to ask if everybody could sign in with their name and email and telephone number so we can share that, just because things change, right? People do change. So I'm going to pass this around, and we'll use this for the next couple of months, As always, everything goes. You have an audition coming up, you bring it in to try it out, if you can, if you want to. You use us to read the other part. It'll help if you let me know so I can reserve time. Anything that is a scene, it really helps to let me know ahead of time if you can. Okay, so surprises are fine, but I can't always get everybody's work in. If you have 3 scenes, I don't have time to do everybody's 3 scenes. But you're always going to get up a lot. If it's between talking and doing, it takes preference, always. Notes can come later. You're all directors as well in here. I want you to share notes as if, I mean, there are directors. Suzanne is one. Eddie is of course our associate director, and Mildred Purdy is our other associate director. Vincent Scott is our associate director. Will be back in October. He's doing a production at Urban Stages. Mildred's sessions are usually Thursday evening, when we have those sessions up at Lincoln Center at her apartment. Those should be smaller usually than not, but this is a good number. This is not too many. And there we focus on not moving around. We work on scenes just sitting, and new writing from writers. All right? You are welcome to write, all of you, if you have something. Marlene has a play. I'm waiting for it to come back.
I have a play, I have a 1-act play, a 10-minute play that I
Yes.
just revised, so I can bring it in.
That would be great. Again, please just let me know ahead of time so I can know what's coming in. Angie.
There are Mondays as well. Mondays, you mentioned it.
Mondays, October 7th is our
Oh.
first Monday.
Oh, okay.
There will be Mondays, okay? Occasionally, once in a while, I may slip in a Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'll let you know. In place of, you know, if something comes up, I'll let you know ahead of time. But generally, it's Monday here. When we have Monday sessions, they're here. And I send out the schedule, so you should have it. Saturdays, when we have Saturdays, they begin again in the first week of November. Not until then. They're here. Saturdays and Mondays are always here. Thursdays are always at Mildred's on 67th and Lincoln Center. Okay? All right. Later in the fall, there will be at least one presentation night for, quote, friends of the industry. Your friends, by the way, are very important for that, as well as friends of the studio. And later there will be probably an agent or manager night in the fall later.
And that would be here?
That would always be here. Yeah. Okay? Unless there's a special something. Like at the, you know, once a year we go to the Players Club. In March, there will be a Shakespeare Bard at the lake.
In March.
At Arts on the Lake. In March, yes. In June, we always go to the Players Club. Yeah. Yeah. This year, it's going to be in March. Gives us plenty of time.
What
Check.
lake?
What's that?
What lake? You said at the lake.
At the lake. It's a theater up there. Art at the Lake. It's our.
Yeah, Mount
we're
Kisco, is it?
We're associated with a theater group, actually, an arts.
Arts on the Lake, I think is the
Arts
call.
on the Lake,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's what you look up.
We always do a Shakespeare event called Bard at the Bar. We do it up there, so it's Bard at the Lake. And that's a collage of all Shakespeare scenes, monologues, songs. And we all do it together, and alumni come back as well. It's a lot of fun. So, Malene, you want to do your scene?
Oh, okay. I can do it now before I leave. That's for sure. Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Why
Okay.
did you?
See, again,